Hi guys, how's it going? So today I've got this beautiful Clemetis to plant. Isn't she gorgeous? And I've got this really nice pot as well, which I picked up from the garden centre. And then this beautiful trellis as well, which is going to hopefully grow up as well. So I'm going to plant this in the front garden, so up the front of the house. But before I plant it, I thought I would just run through the different types of Clemetis, because there are basically three main types of Clemetis, and it's quite important to know which one you've got or which one you're going to buy in terms of when it flowers and also when to prune it. So I just thought I'd take you through the three different groups. There's group 1, group 2 and group 3. So I've got group 1 and group 2 already in our garden, so I'm going to show you those, and then group 3, which is what this is the one I'm going to plant today. So I'll just take you around the other two and just show you, and I'll sort of talk through the main points about each one. So this is a group 1 Clemetis. So these are early spring flowering, so these are one of the first ones that you'll see in spring to flower. They do bloom on old wood, so you have to be very careful with the pruning, which I'll talk about in a sec. So because they flower so early on in spring, they do set their buds on the old wood from the last year. So they don't really require pruning, these ones, just sort of dead branches or to size control the plant. If you do need to prune it just after it's finished flowering basically. But this one you can sort of leave alone if you want to, and it will be quite happy. If you do prune it heavily, it means that you'll forfeit the blooms for the next year. So yeah, just go really, really easy on pruning, so you don't really have to prune this one. So this is a group 2 Clemetis. So this is a early summer flowering Clemetis. So it will flower sort of early summer. Once the flowers are done, you can sort of prune it back a little bit, and then they'll reflush. So they basically flower all season long, which is brilliant. These ones bloom on old wood, but you can prune these back. So unlike the group 1, you can prune these back a little bit harder than you would the group 1. So I would wait till sort of early spring when you start to see the buds appearing, the leaf buds, and then sort of just go down to where you can see a leaf bud coming out, and then just prune it just above, so just chop above that leaf node, and then it'll grow. So you're basically trying to create a good framework of old wood on this Clemetis and encourage new growth. So you can prune this one, just not all the way down to the ground or down to the sort of near the ground. So after it's finished flowering the first time, you can actually prune it a little bit. So you basically get rid of the old flower, so you follow the flower down to the main stem and then just sort of chop it off where you see the first set of buds on the other stem, and that will then encourage another sort of flush of flowers. So 2 lots of pruning, one after it's first finished flowering, and that will encourage a rebloom, and then sort of early spring you do your main prune, and just to sort of down to your woody framework. So this is the group 3 Clemetis that we're going to plant today. So this one is a summer to autumn flowering. So I think these flowers are out a bit early because it's been at a garden centre, maybe grown on a bit early in the greenhouse, but normally these would flower from summer to autumn. Now these ones bloom on new wood, so don't be afraid to prune these back hard. They will like you for it. They need it, in fact. So these require pruning sort of nearly down to the ground, so about 30 centimetres from the base of the plant. So when you start to see the buds sort of early spring, that's the good time to prune it. So go all the way down to about 30 centimetres, find a set of buds, and then just cut it just above a set of buds, and that will encourage some really, really nice new growth. Alright guys, so I hope that made sense about sort of when the 3 different groups and when they flower and when to prune them. I'm sure at some point when they need pruning, I'll probably do a video on that anyway, so I can show you exactly how to prune it, but just a little bit of information on the 3 groups to begin with. So now I'll just show you where we're actually going to plant our new group 3 Clemetis. So it's on the front of the house, so I'll just take you there now. So just for reference, we're in the front garden here. So that's our front garden bed, driveway, coming back to the house. And then this wall here is the one I want to grow the Clemetis up. So it's just a blank wall, and I just think it's a missed opportunity to have something beautiful growing up it. So there are all our bits that we need. So we've got our trellis, which we're going to put up first. So I have done the holes already. So I'm going to drill that trellis in, fix it onto the wall, and then we've got some compost, which we're going to pop into the pot, and then pop the Clemetis on into the pot. So this is the Clemetis that we're going to plant today. So we've established it's a group 3, and this one is a Clemetis Boulevard Olympia. So this one gets about 1.2 metres high, 60 centimetres wide. So it's probably sort of a smaller Clemetis. So it's probably going to get to about, I don't know, maybe about so high. So it will sort of cover quite a portion of this wall, which will be nice. So flowering times, it flowers early summer to mid and late summer. So it's going to be a nice show sort of all summer through into autumn really. And it likes any sort of position, so sun to part shade, this one. Oh, there's a little bumblebee just landed. So we know it's going to be a pollinator attractor. So yeah, beautiful Clemetis. So this one, we have sort of got sunny part shade situation going on the walls. I think this will be perfect for that. So generally, Clemetis like to have their roots in the shade a little bit, and then obviously the flowers more in the sun. So what I thought I might do is plant these sempervivums around the bottom. So I'll plant the Clemetis first, and then I'll plant these little sempervivums around the bottom, which I think will be really nice, and they'll hopefully fill in and then just sort of keep the roots of the Clemetis a little bit more shaded. So that should be perfect. And it's going to mirror the other pot that I've got on the other side, which I'll just show you. And they've got little semps growing around them as well. So it will hopefully sort of tie into that. So this is the other plant pot that we've got on the other side of the door. And I planted, it's got a boxwood plant in it, and then I planted round the bottom these little sempervivums, which I thought was really, really cute. So in theory, that should then mirror on the other side as well. So I'm just going to get the trellis on the wall first, and then we'll get the compost into the pot, and then we'll get the plants planted. That's all planted and watered in. So I've planted the Clemetis and the semps around the bottom as well. So now what I need to do is just start to train this Clemetis up this trellis. So I've just got some twine that you can use, and then I'm just going to sort of tie up the odd stem just so that I can give it a bit of a start to go up the trellis. Alright guys, so it's all planted and ready to go, and it's looking gorgeous. So it will sort of start to grow up and cover this fence. Obviously it'll keep growing up to about 1.2 metres tall, and then, as I said at the beginning, come springtime I'll prune it right down to about there, because this is a group 3 and it can take a lot of pruning. So prune it right down to there, and then next year again it'll start to grow up. Alright guys, so I hope you've enjoyed this video, I hope you found it helpful, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.